Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A bunch of results over the past weekend. We had 3 Bushiroad Spring Fest all across the world. Lots of insane results and some pretty niche, I guess, tops from these players playing really obscure decks. So lots to cover. We're going to go through a bunch of deck lists as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, sit in for a ride, and let's get onto it. If you guys need any coaching, my Metafy link is in the bottom right hand corner. Feel free to book a session and we can get started. If you guys haven't already, click that subscribe button for all notifications on this channel. So starting with Melbourne, this is the event that I went to. I came top 8 and yeah, unfortunately didn't get past top 8, but you know, these teams though did get past top 8. So BSA, the first team, was the team that beat us in top 8. Very, very strong players. Yeah, very, you know, OT happy too. So, you know, congrats to them coming first place with Shunui, Labrador, and Leonor Vivace. And then second place was a full team of Kettle. So this was pretty crazy because I versed a Youthberg player in Swiss and nearly died. So they brought Luan, Youthberg, and Bastion Accord. Third place was Shunui, Mushi King, and Bastion. And then fourth place was Shunui, Jeva, and Luan. So just gonna look at probably the most outlier deck in this infographic, and that is Luan. So being put into the A spot means that you're actually playing a lot into Shunuis. I think I played in player B and I only played one mirror the whole day. I think the middle was very Luan Prism dominant. Didn't see any Shunuis, but I know that my left teammate played against a lot of Shunuis. Oh, actually my right side, because Toby was sitting on my right. Yeah, so the C spot was actually a lot of Shunuis there. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I guess this deck is not like Luard where it focuses on the Minerva order, but essentially plays the order to get the Maris out. Well, it's not really Maris, but you essentially top call, right? You top call into Tayfelt. Tayfelt calls you other stuff. But yeah, this deck is actually pretty strong. It's very tanky. And Tayfelt can essentially find you a Bracing Angel ladder, and yeah, your grade 1 order, the fact that it's grade 1 allows you to essentially play it as early as turn 2. CB1 essentially choose up to 2 normal units, and then choose a card, call it, and then bottom deck the other one, and the call unit gains +5. So essentially you can like ditch your Tayfelts, and then Tayfelt essentially gets called, and yeah, that's pretty busted. Otherwise, Luan is essentially a restanding Vanguard 4 attack deck, hits big, and this grade 1 is insane. Literally, all it says is bottom deck a card, +1 draw. Actually insane card. So yeah, very cool Luan deck, I gotta say. But yeah, moving on to tri-regulation. So unfortunately, my team's bombed out, but you know, there's always next time, there's always Sydney, and there's always other Spring Fest. So, you know, big shout out to Toby and Gav as well for teaming up this weekend. Had a lot of fun. But yeah, you know, we'll be back very, very soon. So tri format won by Ange, Labrador, and Shunui. And then second place, I think they got second again. Unlucky, man. Second 2 days in a row. So this time they brought Gergwood. I'm guessing the Youthberg player is the same player that played Youthberg, and then NLK. We'll look into that in just a sec. Third place was Starvus, Shunui, and Shunui in Premium. So this was Andrew Nguyen's team. And then fourth was Prismatic Glitter with the Neonectar Dragon, and then Labrador and Raging Form. Whew, that's some fire stuff right there. Anyways, obviously the most outlier one is the Neonectar. Like, I don't even know what this guy's name is. GRAJIORL Dragon. Wow, like that's the first time I've ever actually read that name. GRAJIORL Dragon. Playing with like Stan Purity and the Master Wisteria, being able to essentially CB1, discard a card, call 2, and you essentially search. You choose one and search, right? And then you add it to your hand. So I guess you can search like multiple force markers of this. Super rush early, and yeah, it doesn't really care, to be honest. Like, Horticulture activates itself like super early, so you can get like a 4 attack straight up. I guess the only problem with this deck is that it loses to a damage trigger. But I guess your grade 1 is like pretty good. Look at top 7, search for that dragon. If you did not, then you call a 10k token, which is actually pretty big. Because 10k behind a 20k means that you stop heal guards. And then I guess the grade 2 also does the same, right? So yeah, actually a pretty interesting concept because, you know, dodging heal guardians is actually pretty big. So, you know, against Gurgit, like you bash them early, you know, you don't really care. If you go first, you just ruffle stomp them. And then this dragon, CB1, draw 1, call 2 cards from hand, and then essentially all your plant tokens become the 10k token. So like you actually hit super big, 5 attacks, 6 attacks. Yeah, it's actually pretty strong. Wow, didn't even realize. So yeah, very cool, interesting concept of a deck. Gotta say, big respect to this player. And then looking at the NLK, so this is your pretty much traditional NLK list. The good thing about NLK is that it's actually really good in tri-regulation because a lot of players aren't playing counters to it. So, you know, if you don't build up enough hand, this deck just wrecks you. Put it on like a Hope on Damp and it just wrecks you as well. But otherwise, everything is as consistent as it gets. 4/4/4, 4/4/4, 1 Enigmatic Assassin, 4/2/2 of each grade 3, and then pretty much maximizing on crit, right? So 11 crit, 1 Dark Saves OT because you're a restanding Vanguard, and playing a 3/1 split of heals to be able to essentially countercharge off the grade 0 heal. Playing the most broken G-Guard in the game, being able to neg crit to the end of turn. Yeah, this deck is pretty much everything you ever wanted, right? Then, oh, so that was the... Actually, I'm going to search up the Raging Form list. So 1, 2, 3, K6. So that was actually supposed to be Raging Form first. But anyways, alas, this is the Raging Form list. So this is actually very close to Anson's list, except playing the 1 additional Angel to be able to put yourself to 4. Otherwise, everything else is kind of as it is. Your grade 1 is essentially searchable. Being able to search your Raging Forms is always good off the mana. So the mana calls this to search for a Raging Form, which is always good. Playing 4 Revenger Crisp, that is absolutely correct. Your heals are also Revengers as well. So playing 1 extra is okay. This player decided to play 2 Draw PGs, 1 Crit Sentinel, and 1 Sanctitude, which is completely fine as well. And then otherwise the G Zone isn't, you know, super out-teched for anything, which is, you know, how the deck's supposed to be. Playing the 1 Slay Hex to be able to essentially have a 5th Raging Form Dragon Ride. So respect on that card inclusion as well. Then jumping to the other side of the world. So we had Spain. So standard won by a Chronojet, Zorgar, Mask, and Shiranui. So a very cool, interesting lineup. Second place was taken by Bastion Accord, Luard, and Shiranui. Third was Prism, Luard, Shiranui. Probably the most meta lineup. I see you, Alex. I see you, Victor. I see you, Jasmine. You guys are, yeah, sweaty just like we are. And then fourth place was a Fennel, Vivace, and a Kyrie. Man, Kyrie, wow. All right, that and Fennel, Jesus. All right, well, you know, have to look at that deck. So Fennel, obviously, 16 orders. And then, what is this grade 2? When this unit is placed on rearguard during main phase, if you play 3 or more orders, which is normal, Solos 1, choose a normal unit with a different card name from drop and call. So it essentially calls anything from the bin. And then it, on attack hit, choose one of the 16 orders and add it to hand. Then this grade 2, this is this Sakura? No, it's not. When this unit is placed in rigor other than by a unit's card ability, if you play in a normal order this turn, Sobos 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 with grade less or equal to Vanguard and call it. So essentially you're always going to get this off because you're always attacking, well, using your 16 orders, and when it attacks, I can come off one draw and gains +10. So yeah, pretty fat. Otherwise, yeah, it's just really straightforward deck, and it topped in Japan. So, you know, this player, you know, taking some notes and then adopting from the Japan list as well. Then looking at the Kyrie list, so Kyrie actually got a pretty big buff with Yasmin. Being able to jump from 3 to 4 is actually pretty big. And the fact that you can jump from deck or drop means that you can actually compromise the slot for Grade Valkyrie and then put in all the other stuff. So like the grade 2 is actually really important. Playing the Willista line, being able to essentially draw 2 on a grade 2 turn, which is really strong. Forward Banal to search out the grade 4. And then you're playing 4 of the grade 3 Cycler card, essentially count +1, draw +10. And yeah, just really, really strong. Going up to grade 3, yeah, it is what it is. And then the grade 3 allows you to multi-attack if you have an overtrigger, but then you also have this grade 2. So essentially when your other front row rigger is returned to hand by grade 3 or greater, so essentially when you bounce on attack, you can +1 stand all the riggers in the same column as this unit. So essentially what you do is you just get rid of the other side and then yeah, you just restand, right? So it's minimum 4 attacks, and because you call 1 front 1 back with Kyrie, you're essentially attempting 5 attacks every turn. So yeah, very, very cool deck, I gotta say. Kyrie was definitely one of my favorite decks when it was really, really strong back in Magnolia Elder Meta. So yeah, very cool to see this deck come back. Then Tri-Regulation, so won by Alex Kwan's team with Victor and Jasmine. So congrats to you guys, Anj, Shunui, and Night Rose. Second place was Night Rose, Prism, and Katrina. Third was a Jewel Knight, Shunui for the D spot, and then Reindeer, which is Highlander, and then fourth place was Anj, Greedon, and Victor. So 2 decks we're gonna look at here is the Highlander list. So this one is pretty interesting. So this player uses the grade 2 that requires an order. Essentially when it's placed on rear guard, oh well, you have to play an order, right? So what orders do they use? They use the Forbidol. So I don't actually know how synergetic that is, but maybe you just play it for the on attack CB1 draw +10. But I guess this deck does actually use a lot of CB, so I'm not too sure how good the synergy is with that card. But otherwise, everything else is the same. You play 2 of the Sienna support to be able to bounce using your Citron. Jermaine as a multi-attacker. Pretty much your big 6 for the re-ride. But otherwise, everything else just, you know, as it is and as expected. So yeah, very cool list. Not gonna lie. Then looking at this Victor list is pretty wild. Not gonna lie. So focusing on G Victor and not V Victor. So you play one of the V Victor to be able to find off your Arishids, but also playing Cosmo Lord. So Cosmo Lord's effect mainly is because of the rest 2, and then because it works on rearguard as well, right? So at the end of battle that this unit attacked, you can come us 1, stand this unit, -2 drive. It's like, okay, sure. And then during your turn, if you do not have any standing units, your unit gains +10 for each of your rearguards. So essentially it becomes pretty big once it becomes like, I guess, the last attack, right? So yeah, lots of applications there, pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. Playing Zubat, very good into Chaos and Narukami. Gosachi is a mainstay, Sazanda is a mainstay, and then playing the Dole Sledge, being able to essentially lock your opponent out of Sentinels. Pretty much if you hit the OT onto this, it's over. Yeah, I guess, right? Because you double power, double crit, you just slam on this and your opponent can't do anything, which is actually pretty scary. Otherwise, everything is kind of as normal. Playing 2 of the Scarlet Bird to be able to restand your board, but I'm actually not sure whether you actually have enough soul. I guess you're like abusing heavily on your crits. I guess Dole Sledge gets you soul, right? So yeah, I guess the application is there. And then Energy Gill, being able to bounce back. Essentially stand a unit, soul +1, get an extra drive. It's pretty good, right? Otherwise, the G-Zone is as straightforward as it gets. You essentially play max 2 of anything, and then just 1 of, you know, all your other tech strides as well. Very cool list, very different to what Steven brought to Worlds. Then jumping to Puerto Rico, so first place was yeah, a sweaty lineup. Prism, Shiranui, and Luard. Second place was a full lyrical team playing Kyrie, Pacifica, and Labrador. Third was a full Keta team. So that was Luan, Luard, and Youthberg. And then fourth was a Magnolia, Elder, Shiranui, and a hero deck. Alright, well, first is the Pacifica. I never thought in this day and age we'd see Pacifica top. I actually don't know what this deck does. Like, it just multi-attacks, right? Because like the center back circle can attack with this, like using this, right? And then you just like draw a bunch of cards, become super tanky. The grade 2 allows you to search for Pacifica. This allows you to hit big and CB1 draw. Ingrid allows you to counter charge. Is this also a searcher? When it's placed in rear guard, comes one searcher deck for up to. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, okay. So you search this? So choose one of your rear guards at the end of battle, return this to hand. At the end of turn, discard a card, choose this and grab it. So I guess what you do is you play this, which activates this to Soul Blast and Multi-Core, and then bounce back, ditch, and grab it back. So you always have an order every turn, right? Wow, that is pretty crazy. Wow, that's really cool innovation. Not gonna lie. All right, respect to this player for figuring that out. That's really cool. So I guess that little mini engine there can be kind of put into some decks, being able to search out the order and essentially like, you know, ditch and draw, always recycle that order, and you only ever need to play one, right? Wow, very cool innovation of a deck. So big respect to this player. Then looking at the Magnolia Elder list, so playing the Friendship Fairy to be able to jump to Elder, and Largolf is pretty insane, especially if you're, you know, on Elder, being able to fish out your inlet pulses, slam your inlet pulses down, and then draw a bunch. Playing Misty Arc, because you're playing the Zorga line, well, the grade 1 Chain Rancor anyways, being able to ditch an order, and then, you know, essentially a draw 2, ditch an order is really good. Misty Arc Habitat to essentially search everything else. So yeah, very cool list. I like this. Magnolia Elder, also one of my other, you know, old favorites back in the day, when I went 10-0. Yeah, back when it was broken. Yeah. Then the hero deck. So this deck is actually pretty scary if you're not ready and you don't know how to play against this deck. Sometimes this deck, if you don't hit damage triggers, like you get absolutely pummeled and there's nothing you can really do about it. You can essentially chain attacks with this girl, as long as you have multiple copies, right? So yeah, B Hero, I think like 2 made top 8 at Worlds, so you know, it's still a deck to kind of look out for, but obviously, you know, Shuranui's running around. Actually, there was only 2 Shiranui in here, right? And 2 of the other teams didn't even bring Shiranui, so I have no idea what the hell's going on over there. But I guess, you know, people are playing their favorites, which is, you know, respectable. So yeah, that's that. And then jumping to trial regulation, there is a lot here. All right, and there is one that really catches my eyes, so we're going to look at that last. So the first team brought Davos, Shunui, and the leader. Second was Gurgut, Shunui, and Gridora. Third was Gurgut, Luan, and a Harry deck. Jesus. And then fourth was Vowing Saber, Eradicators, Shunui, and Tachikaze. And I don't have the Tachikaze list. This is the first time I've seen Tachikaze top in heck knows how many years. This probably dates back to like G era. I haven't seen Tachikaze top at all, like in premium, so to say. We've seen it in V, but yeah, it's been a very, very long time. Let's just put it at that, right? So obviously the ones that we do have deck logs for, so this is the leader list. It's pretty straightforward how this deck kind of achieves stuff. This essentially counts as 3 units, so you just multi-attack with given, and that's just that, right? You delete, you go into this guy, you lock and unlock, and then you, because by unlocking, you restand, so you restand given, you find givens off this. I think like in one of the lists ages back, they would have ran like Awakening Messiah, the G one, to be able to restand another rear guard. But I guess you don't really need to use that in this list. And then essentially if you proc Bracing Angel Ladder, your opponent actually can't stop you. Bracing Angel Ladder just stops all of your opponent's shenanigans, and they can't disrupt your, you know, 4 restanding Vanguards with Force 2 or, yeah. And if you hit OT, it's over. It's absolutely over. So yeah, very cool list. Last time I saw the leader was like a couple years ago. So that it's been a very, very long time. Okay, so special mention to this amazing Harry player. I put Harry back in the cupboard, but this player didn't, all right? This player played, I guess, very similar to what I played, kind of. So 1-1, actually, yeah, it's pretty close. Like 3G Harrys, oh no, 4G Harry. So the deck that I played. So 4G Harrys, 1 Tricky, 1 of the Dark States Scythe Dragon, but then included 1 Dorian, 1 Lukier, 1 Chimera. Then playing 3 of each of the Steam Performers, increase consistency to be able to get all your denial pieces. Wait. But no Lovely Companion? Wait, what? So you don't? Oh no, I guess you use your G guards, right? Because you're on G Harry. So you use your G guards to blow up stuff. So your G guards are Denial Griffins. And then you put the PG slot into the grade 3. You play Elementaria Sanctitude. You also play Forbidol. Forbidol essentially searches like, I don't know, Chimera or Dorian to suck everything into Soul after your turn. Playing Paratrooper, I guess then you have access to like Purple Trapezist. Whereas my list, I played Periton. And then playing this pop-out Chimera. So essentially, it's a really good ride target because you essentially CB1, Soul Charge 3, and then draw a card if you Soul Charge a trigger. And then pretty much your stands are like really good to Soul Charge, right? And then you start on Cat Knight in Boots to no V starter. Wow, pretty interesting. And then this, if I got this card for Worlds, the deck would have been so insane. But yeah, you know, I'm a scrub. I went 1-5 at Worlds with this deck, and you know, this player obviously definitely did better than I did. So yeah, very cool. Mad respect to this player, whoever it is. Big shout out to you. You have my best deck of the week. This is a sick deck, and you know, I don't know what to say. All right, you did better than I did, and I'm very happy for you because this deck is pretty crazy. If everything aligns and you know it's not super sketch, I think it's a very formidable deck, so to say. And yeah, lots of rambling on. That's all the results this week. If anyone has the touchy list, let me know down in the comments. I really want to see what the list is all about, because I haven't seen Gluttony Dogma in like yonks. So yeah, very cool list. So yeah, if you find it, pop it down in the comments, let me know. And you know, if you guys like this, pop a like, comment down below what you guys think of the results this weekend. There's a lot of wacky results, and I think that is what is loved by a lot of the Vanguard players around the world, just playing your favorite deck and you know, just showing results with that. If you guys haven't already, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.